Hi everybody! Today's video is about the pressures that are put on teenagers today and just my observations and opinions on what I think about subjects like school, boys, social networking, honor classes, and stuff like that. To start off, being a teenager today is a lot harder than most people think. All adults just grow up and they just completely forget about what it was like to be young, and since the internet and stuff, things have just gotten harder and more pressures have been put on kids today than ever before, I think. So I just want to tell you about what I try to maneuver and just what I think about certain subjects. I'm going to start with school and the pressures to have your whole life figured out pretty much by freshman year. These days, the counselors want you to have honors classes and extracurriculars, and you have to be on a sports team, and you have to be getting a part-time job, and all of these things, and they just expect you to know everything that you're going to want basically for the rest of your life, and they drill things into you such as if you don't take these classes, you won't get into a good college, and then you won't get a good job, and then you'll just be miserable and hate yourself the rest of your life. So it's 14 or 15-year-olds are trying to figure out what they want for the next 10 years, but that's so hard when most of the time you don't even know who you are or what you want yet. Granted, there are some people who don't care, they don't even do what they want, but most of us, we don't know. When I was freshman year, I was nothing like what I am today, so how am I supposed to pick something I want for myself freshman year when that's not the same career goals or whatever that I have aligned for myself now as senior year? And they just keep forcing it on you and forcing it, and it's not only the school, it's your parents too, and they're like, well, you have to do this and you have to do this, and they're just trying to push you and shove you into ways that they want you to go. But most of the time they're never like, what do you want to do? Do you know what you want? Do you know who you are? Do you know what you're feeling? Most of the time it's just pushing you and shoving you into the direction they think is right for you. My parents try to push me into college even though that's not necessarily what I want at this moment. They never ask, what it is that I want or how I'm feeling about the subject. It's just this is what you're gonna do. Good luck with it. It's only your life, but I'm going to decide for you. That can be stressful, obviously, And they want you on top of all of these classes. You have to be in soccer, basketball, swimming, football, all kinds of stuff like that, and then you have to put other extracurriculars on your resume and stuff so that you can submit that to colleges a couple years down the line, even though you have no idea where you're going or what you want to do. And the parents are just putting so much pressure on you, and sometimes they're not helpful at all. Mine are pretty cool. I have no room to complain about my parents, but I know a lot of people and a lot of my friends, they are stressed out mostly because of their parents, and their parents don't understand how much stress they're putting on their kids. I've had people cry at school and stuff just because something their mom or their dad said, and they just feel weighed down the whole day because they feel like they're disappointing them or something if they decide to do something that they want to do. They're like, I have to take cello lessons because my dad's always wanted me to, and I can't quit, and I hate it, and I would rather take drum lessons or something. And it's difficult to maneuver around that because it's your parents and you live with them and they provide everything for you, And you're finally starting to branch out on your own, and they either don't want to let go, or they don't know how, or they don't realize how attached they are. And sometimes really just a conversation with them will help. Even my parents, they can be a little bit like that, so having an honest discussion can sometimes help. I'm not saying it's gonna fix the problem. Some people are just too crazy for you to fix. For that, I say, hold out till you're 18. Just keep trucking, keep doing your best. But I don't think you should give in to their every whim, If they're like, you have to do this, or you're going to be grounded for the rest of your life, then I would suggest doing it. But, if you think that they're going to be okay with you branching out, doing something besides what they want you to do, then I would risk exploring that option or try lessening the lessons for that, or going for something that you like on the side. And it's just baby steps, trying to get underneath that, and they're letting their baby grow up and stuff. Now I want to be talking about the people you're going to school with, especially the popular girls and the popular boys. if you're young, like a freshman and stuff, and you see all these senior girls and they're just like so beautiful, I used to do that too. I'm just like, how are they so pretty? I feel so ugly. I don't feel like I belong here. And to make it even worse, you know, now there's the internet and you can go home and stalk these people and be like, oh my god, your life is so much better than mine. I hate myself because you're at parties all the time, and last Friday night you were at a party and you got drunk and you had so much fun while I stayed home and watched Netflix. And it just makes you feel terrible about yourself. And it's a horrible, horrible thing to do. And especially if you're like single at the time or something, and you see all these girls getting all these boys, and you just feel so left out, and you don't have any friends, and you can't do anything about it. Well, I suppose you could, but you just feel like you can't do anything about it. And it's really stressful when you're like that. I remember freshman year stalking all these people. I'm like, oh my god, they're so pretty. They have such a better life than me. And you feel like you're not going anywhere. And then your like parents are like, why are you home on a Friday night? And they're like, I don't know, I'm here. Accept me. But it can be really hard. And appearance is a terrible, terrible thing in high school, you know? Because everyone's comparing everyone. And if you're not the prettiest girl, then you feel stupid and you feel left out. And especially if you're not like a popular girl and you don't have many friends. I only have like 2 to 3 good friends most of the time. So I understand what it's like to not have a huge circle of friends and not being invited everywhere every night. And if that's what you really want, if you want to be a part of the popular crowd or whatever, you want to have more friends, you want to have a boyfriend, I would suggest actually putting yourself out there instead of just stalking people on a Friday night like most people do. If you see them in class and they're genuinely nice people, just try making friends with them. It sounds a lot harder than it probably is, but you just have to talk to people. I'm more of a shy person myself, and I know how hard this can be, but just try finding something you have in common, or being like, hey, cute picture, whatever, on the internet, and be like, thanks girl, you look damn sexy today too. And I don't know, that's how friendships work, I think. I don't know. You know how to make a friend, you know how to be nice. So if that's genuinely what you want for your high school career, if you want to look back and remember all these parties and stuff, then that's what you're going to have to do, or create your own parties with your own friends. But don't feel like that's what you have to do and that's what you have to be. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of these things on the weekend that like everyone else in my town seems to do. And it's okay if you don't, you know. So, like, parents don't want you to do it, but everyone at school is doing it, so you're like, well, I don't know where I am, I don't know what I want. Maybe I'll go get high this weekend. But whatever, do what you want, but don't be stupid about it if you don't want to. There's nothing wrong with saying no. I'm 18 years old, almost 17, sorry, I don't know why I said 18. I'm almost 17 years old, and I've said no my whole life, and no one cares. No one cares when you get older. If you're going to a party specifically to go drink where everyone else is drinking, that might get a little bit weird, but don't be afraid of saying no if you don't want to. And if you do want to, don't be stupid about it. Don't be drinking and driving. Don't get high in the middle of the desert and lose your keys or something. I don't know. I don't know what people do. But just be careful about what it is that you're doing. And again, when you're on these internet sites and you see everyone else at their parties and stuff and they're having such a greater life than you are, just relax a little bit, because they're showing you the best parts of their lives. You don't know what's happening behind that camera. You don't know if they went to bed crying that night over the boy or whatever. Just because they put pictures of themselves up on the internet, having fun and having the time of their life, doesn't mean that they actually are. Most people just put what they want up there to make everyone else feel sad, because they're like, oh, I'm having such a great life, and it makes everyone else feel sad because they're like, oh, I'm not having that yet, and I feel left out. You just have to realize that they're hiding some things when they're on the internet. And I would really suggest getting off the internet all the time. I only have a Facebook, and I go on it once in a while because everyone in my town is stupid, and I don't think I should be looking on there anyway. Most people are. You should not be on Facebook all the time, or on Twitter, Instagram and stuff, and stalking everybody else. Why don't you actually get out and try to have a life? If that's what you want, if you want to have a meaningful life, you're not going to look back on your high school years and be like, oh yeah, I stalked her on Instagram for like 20 years. No, you want to be like, oh, this is my best friend. We went to all these parties. We did all this cool stuff. We went to rock slides and stuff, and we went to amusement parks and cool stuff like that. You want to have actual memories, and you can't do that every day by playing on Instagram and stuff, or playing on Candy Crush, or whatever it is you kids do these days. And another problem is just the social life and stuff. If you feel like you're young and stuff and you don't have a boyfriend or anything, or if you don't have a girlfriend and you just feel left out because everyone else, it seems like, is getting a boyfriend and stuff, it's hard because you're like, oh, well, what's wrong with me, you know? You're like, why can't I find someone I like? And this is kind of hard to look around and stuff, because meeting a boy is similar to like making friends and stuff, but if you're going to actually have a connection with this person, and if you want to spend some time with them, you have to talk to people and you have to get out there. And you can't just be like, oh, woe is me, why don't I have a boyfriend? I'm so pretty, I'm so awkward, whatever. You have to actually talk to people and get out there. And even if you don't find a boyfriend, it's not the end of the world. You're going to meet great guys, you're going to meet great friends, and it'll be worth something. And then you're going to have your first boyfriend and have a first heartbreak and stuff, and maybe you might even meet your future husband. Who knows? But don't just sit there and think about it. You have to actually get out there and talk about it. Which is my closing to all of this. It can be super stressful and super hard, and there's a lot of pressure on teenagers these days to have the greatest life imaginable and to be all these different sort of people. You have to be the straight-A student, but you also have to party, and you have to have the boyfriend and the coolest hair and stuff like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter in the end. It matters what you remember. If you want to have a great life, then do that by reading books and becoming a great person, becoming smart, and having the life that you want. Don't waste it all on the internet and being shy in class. Just do the best that you can. And if your parents and teachers are trying to stress you out with grades and stuff like that, take it seriously, but don't let it overwhelm you, you know? Like, if you need a part-time job, if you need whatever, do what you have to do, but don't get overwhelmed. Enjoy the little things in life, you know? Don't stress about that math test next week. It's not going to ruin your whole life if you fail. Nothing really matters in the end. We're all going to die one day. We are on a floating rock in the middle of the universe. So what you do really doesn't matter. Just do what makes you happy. And that's all I really have to say about this. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Tell me how it works, and tell me if you have any problems or advice to give other people. So, thanks, everybody. Bye.